Hello amigos, ¿cómo está? My name is Dan and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking a whole bunch of things involving Chivas. The first of which is obviously a couple of days ago now. The 2024-2025 Chivas home shirt has been announced and released. And there's a lot of mixed feelings about it. I've got mixed feelings about it. So let's go straight into that for the first part of this video. And obviously the previous ones just there. I love this jersey. I've got a special affinity towards it, especially this particular one because I got it when I was at the Aquan. Yeah, I really like that shirt. I think the design was really great. I think I think the crest being in the middle. Suits the jersey design better, and also I really like the home shirt before this one. I think that one's probably one of my favorites. Maybe even my favorite Chivas jersey of all time. Yeah, I just think this crest in the middle was really great. Obviously you got the Caliente sponsor, but it was quite decently placed. It's not overbearing. It's not too big. But the new one is a little bit different. Obviously, they've taken a little bit of a different step. The colours are kind of different. I mean, obviously they've got the blue collar still, but yeah, the crest is on the side now. There's the MG sponsors on it as well now, in the middle of the shirt. So yeah, it's a little bit more crowded now. The shirt, the front of the shirt, should I say? But overall, I mean, it's not too different from this jersey or the jersey before. It's just it's personal taste. I think some people didn't like that jersey way back when the stripes were different sizes. I think that was 2018 or 2019 one. I can't remember. So yeah, I mean, you're not going to please everyone. A new jersey gets released. There are people that love it immediately. There's people that hate it immediately, and sometimes the haters become lovers. I mean, I hated Arsenal's away shirt last season, and now it's one of my favourite shirts because it's just iconic. So, yeah, it's a little bit of it's a personal thing, isn't it? Obviously, if you don't like a shirt, you don't have to get it. I've ordered it anyway. So obviously, it's not going to take it's not going to be here for a long time, but I've ordered it. And I'm quite happy with it, to be honest with you. I mean, it's not too different. It's not too outrageous or out there. Some people think it's a little bit boring design, but I'm thinking, well, I'd rather go boring than then go really experimental and changing. Obviously the Chivas home shirt should be red and white stripes, and then sponsors on top of that. I think the sponsor thing is what gives a lot of fans a little bit of negativity. I think this Caliente design was pretty cool because it kind of fits, and obviously with the central crest and the central Puma design as well, and because the crest is on the side now, it kind of looks a little bit off. I think it's because I've gotten too used to the crest being in the centre, but overall I think it's a decent kit and I can't wait to get it. Yes, let me know in the comments down below what you think of the new shirt. Are you going to get it? If you already got it, I know a lot of people have already got it. Let me know in the comments. Let me know why you hate it if you do hate it, and why you love it if you do love it. I prefer this one, and I really prefer the one before this one. The last two jerseys have been the home jerseys have been really really epic, and this one's I think not as good as these past two, but I don't think it's a terrible one. I don't think it's really bad. I just don't. My personal preference, I prefer these two, this one and the previous one. But yeah, let me know in the comments and we'll have a talk about it. And moving on to the next topic, which is obviously Tala. Lots of media things about him. Obviously, he got his international debut in Mexico against Uruguay a few days ago now. And yeah, it didn't really go to plan. He's become, obviously, Uruguay won 4-0. Darwin Nunez got a hat trick out of, that's just, a bit rare for him to get that many goals in the game. But, yeah, Uruguay went as strong as they possibly could. Not the strongest team, I don't think. I think some of their best players weren't there. But I think he fielded the best team that he could have done, and given this Bielsa's availability. But yeah, obviously, I think Jimmy's looked at Uruguay and Brazil, which is Brazil's happening later on this weekend. But I think he looked at it and thought, you know what, the whole roster for Copa America is a generational change. There's no new goalkeepers. There's new outfield players. There's a whole load of new players that have been called up, and a whole load of old players that haven't been called up. And I think he's looked at the two games and gone, well, I think Uruguay is the one where um, I want to play the fringe players, the players that probably won't start games in Copa America but could come on. And I thought that was a really, really good idea. I mean, obviously, part of the generational change is you've got to start playing these players that have not got any, international experience before, probably super young. I mean, the back line, I think the average age of the back line was like 23 or something. So, yeah, the whole team was pretty much, apart from Edson Alvarez, there wasn't really that many team players in there that probably would start a game in Copa America. So, um, yeah, I mean, you've got to start playing these players. Jimmy's got to know which players that he can count on when his first team players get injured or don't have a really good game. Obviously, he has to bring these players on at some point. That's why you have that big, much of a squad, because you have to rotate. You can't play the same 11 players, every few days. It's just not going to be possible. So, I was pretty happy with it. I knew probably that meant that Uruguay were going to win. I didn't expect them to be so efficient at it, if I'm being pretty honest. Obviously, the Mexico lineup started with four Chivas players. Obviously, Rangel, Chiquete, which another player I was really happy about. Obviously, Alvarado and Nene Beltran as well. And yeah, the first goal goes in, and all the American fans, all the Chivas fans, all the club rivalries in within the national team gets brought to the surface. All the American fans are blaming all the Chivas players. I saw Huerta get a lot of blame, especially for the first goal. I think he could have done better for that first goal. He didn't have a great game, obviously, and the whole team didn't have a great game, to be honest. And I remember sitting there thinking, you know what, it got a little bit depressing, really. Once it got to like 2 or 3 nil, got a little bit depressing. And I remember saying to myself, like, I could rip into Gino Huerta here. I could rip into Edson Alvarez even. He's captain. But what's the point? This is a game that Mexico probably was never going to win. Only because Jimmy's got to play these players. He's got 2 games before the Copa America. It'd be absolute suicide for him personally, I think, to play a rotated team against Brazil. So Uruguay was probably the only shot he had to test these players out, test Tala out, give him his debut, and test the young back line, test the midfield. It just didn't go to plan, obviously. So it is what it is. I mean, Tala in particular got a lot of stick online. A lot of people saying he's not as good, he's not that good, should never play for the national team again, blah blah blah. Like, bro, calm down. Like, this is, Uruguay's no joke either. I mean, they can play their rotated team and they're still a strong national team. Um, Darwin Nunez gets a lot of memes. He gets memed a lot, but he's still a great player. He's at a great club and he's doing well for them. And um, yeah, playing a bunch of 23-year-olds against them is probably not going to go well. I just think there's a lot of bad takes on Twitter over the last few days. It's kind of died down now, thankfully. But the biggest one, I think, is obviously the Rangel Malagon thing. Look, they're both getting their chance for the national team at the same time. Malagon's 4 years older from memory than Tala. I mean, Malagon should be better than Tala Rangel. He's 4 years older. He's been America's number one for I don't even know how long, several years now. This is Tala Rangel's just got his national team debut off of his debut season as number one. He got his Chivas senior team debut the tournament before the last one. So, he's 23 years old. Like, it's you can't really compare. You shouldn't compare Malagon to Tala Rangel right now. Malagon should be clear. He should be. I mean, the fact, from my point of view, is the fact that they're both getting the chance for the national team at the same time tells me that there's not that much difference between Malagon and Rangel. Obviously, Malagon's the senior player. He's the older player. He's the way more experienced. He should be better than Tala Rangel right now. So yeah, I mean, American fans saying, "Oh, Malagon's clear." Well, yeah, he should be. Like, he should be. He should be more clear than he actually is. I don't think Tala's that far off Malagon, if I'm being brutally honest. Um, just not an ideal game to start to have your debut and to really start getting yourself bedded into the national team. This result now is going to be used by American fans in particular for a long, long time. I mean, I think Rangel has the ability and deserves to be there. Obviously, Julio Gonzalez is going to probably start against Brazil because Malagon's got injured, apparently. We'll talk about that in a minute. But yeah, I mean, I just want to say, look, Rangel at the moment is on the right course. He's had a brilliant tournament with Chivas. Deserved the championship, if I'm being brutally honest. I think, America got fluky with their win against Chivas. And Cruz Azul just, they're infamous for dipping out of finals. So I think if it had gone the other way around, if Chivas got the fluky goal, I think Chivas could have quite easily beaten Cruz Azul and we'd be champions. So I don't think there's too much difference between the teams right now, and I don't think there's too much difference between the goalkeepers. I was really looking forward to seeing Malagon play against Brazil, if I'm brutally honest, because I'm thinking, okay, well, let's see how your boy does against Brazil. Brazil is two, maybe three steps above Uruguay right now. Their team is absolutely epic and it's terrifying, and you have to have them favourites for Copa America. I think Brazil can comfortably go against any national team in the world right now, even with their young squad, and they have got a young squad. Um, yeah, Malagon, the funny thing for me is obviously Malagon's got this injury, apparently is a little bit of a knock and he can't play against Brazil, but this came literally about an hour after the news that, that somebody broke the predicted lineup for the Brazil team against Mexico, and mate, it's terrifying. If you're a Mexico fan, it's terrifying. Every Mexico fan should know that don't really have a chance in this game. I was gonna I'm still looking forward to seeing Malagon play, see how well he does. I mean, if he turns around and has a really good game, concedes a couple, but makes several decent saves, you have to hold your hands up and say, fair enough, he's a better goalkeeper, he's clear, he should be number one now. We're not going to get that chance now, so for me, the jury's still out of Malagon. At least Rangel went in there and did the best he could. With the back line, the whole defence in front of him was inexperienced as well. Chiquete was getting his one. I think he was his debut as well. Correct me if I'm wrong. So yeah, Victor Guzman as well. He's super young. So yeah, I mean, if Rangel had Mexico's best back line possible ever in front of him, and he still conceded four, you have to hold your hands up. He's obviously the weak link, but the whole defence, the whole midfield, there was no midfield for Mexico this whole game. The defence was super young, and he's super young as well. It's his first game for the national team, for God's sake. Like, what do you expect him to do? I think he made a few decent saves. I think it could have been worse if it hadn't been for Rangel. And people picked up on this one little bit where he kind of I think it deflected off him winning the goal. I think it was the fourth goal. But it is what it is. I mean, rivalries exist in football. If it had been Malagon, would I have taken the piss out of him the way they were taking the piss out of Rangel? Maybe. I mean, I don't think I would have done. I think I'm a bit jaded with the national team right now. And I'm not too bothered, really. They lost 4-0. Okay, what's new? But I could have done. It was possible that I could have done. I could have, trolled Malagon if it had been him. So I understand the rivalries happening. It's just, for me, I think it was overblown. Obviously, Chivas, every other fan base in Mexico hates Chivas. I think purely because Chivas is so much loved in the country, so and in the world as well. So yeah, I just think it was overblown. I don't think it's going to affect Rangel's confidence. He's got a big season coming up with Chivas. We need to, push on and get to Liga again and try and get to another final. With Hierro gone now, Gargo's got a lot of pressure on him now, I think, to really kind of get the best out of the team. And also, we still got to make signings. So, I just think, it is what it is with Rangel. I think, probably wasn't the best game to play his debut. But Jimmy didn't have much of a choice, and he left it too late, I think. This whole generational change probably could have happened last international break, or the break before that. I think it could have happened before now. It's just, you know, a couple of months before the Copa America starts. It probably doesn't give you enough time to kind of bed in some of the fringe players, the younger players, and get them, you know, um, get them experience. And yeah, for a few players in this team, it was their first experience in the national team, and it couldn't have gone worse if I'm being brutally honest. But look, what I say to American fans is get used to Rangel because after Malagon, I think Malagon, unless Malagon drastically improves, I don't think he's going to be Mexico's best goalkeeper for too long. He's blatantly the best goalkeeper available now. Obviously, I'm not disputing that, but how long that's going to be, I don't know. I mean, it would have been nice to judge him on the Brazil game because Mexico may face Brazil if they get out of the groups. And it would have been nice to see Mexico's best goalkeeper actually play against a really world class team. So we're not going to get a chance. Julio Gonzalez. It would be ironic as if he does well, if Julio does really well, and against Brazil, then maybe he starts the first game of Copa America and not Malagon. So that would be quite funny. But I can't see anything but Mexico lost in this. I think Brazil's going to be quite comfortably the winners. Although, having said that, Mexico should have their strongest lineup. I expect Santi Jimenez to start, and all the the usual guys. So we'll have to wait and see. And obviously, people talking about Alvarado as well. I mean, his shot right at the start of the game could have been absolutely brilliant. He's been scoring goals like that for Chivas over the last tournament. So it's a shame for him, but it is what it is. I mean, obviously, the downside of having more Chivas players in the national team now is if things go wrong, it's their fault and no one else's. There's been no talk about Chino Huerta. I think he had probably the worst game he's ever had for Mexico. And no talk about him because he's not a Chivas player. So it is what it is. There is a downside. I even tweeted out, I was like, maybe having Rangel in the national team so soon wasn't the best thing. Maybe he should have just stuck to doing quite well with Chivas for another year or two and then popped in. But he's got to get the experience. It's a trial by fire, so hopefully he's learned from it and it makes him stronger. And because I think if he stays on the trajectory that he's on now, I think he stays in the national team for a very long time. He's only 23, 24. I think he's 24 actually. But yeah, I think he's going to be I think he's a great goalkeeper. So yeah. Anyway, guys. The last thing I want to talk about is obviously transfers. Wacho has finally gone. He's gone to Puebla, if I'm not mistaken. That's pretty cool. I mean, it's a move that was blatantly going to happen. I think I said in the previous video that I think that was going to be one of the first moves, is that he's going to be the one that leaves first, and obviously that's proved to be the case. Um, Obviously, Tala, who I've just been ranting about for the last few minutes, he's obviously number one now. Not only that, I think he's better than Wacho has ever been, for Chivas anyway. Wacho had a really good season a couple of years back. We have to, you know, give him his due. He did have one really, really good season. I think it was the season we got to the final and we lost against Tigres. So, but apart from that, I mean, he does have a howler in him, and you know, everyone loves a scapegoat, and obviously the goalkeeper is one of the easiest scapegoats. Obviously, if your team's not scoring, then the striker's a scapegoat as well. So everyone loves to have someone to blame. Wacho just made mistakes far too often. Having said that, the game I went to see at the Akron, he did save a penalty in that game against Pachuca, which was awesome. It was really cool to see that live in person. But yeah, overall, I think it was time for him to lower his age as well as going against him. So hopefully he does really well in Puebla. I think it's a decent move for him. Obviously, he stays in Mexico and stays getting paid pretty decently, I reckon. So good luck to him. I don't have much bad feelings for him. Some people hate him. Some people quite like him. But it's all about respect, isn't it? He played for your club for several years, and he obviously gave it his all. It's his fault that he's always probably not as good as our standards set for him. So, yeah, saying thank you for him and thank you for representing Chivas. I don't think it's a bad thing. People questioned it. Some people questioned it. Like, well, we thank him. He didn't do anything. Blah blah blah. I think it's just respect, isn't it? He's representing your club. And he's not left badly. He's not complained. he didn't claim when Tala took his spot and Wally was brought in as well. He knew his time was done. As far as I know, he hasn't said anything publicly bad about Chivas, so why not just say thank you very much for your help and all the best for the future. I don't think that's anything wrong to be respectful about. So, yeah, so he's gone, and obviously the first move apparently we're going to be making is Omar Gouveia, who's going to be joining Chivas, and it's a bit of a surprising one. For me, it depends on how much they spent. I saw a rumor that it was like $2 or $3 million, which isn't too bad, I guess. I just think midfield's probably not the first transfer I would have made. Obviously, Guti was out for the end of the last season. Nene's there. Pocho can play back there if he needs to. We've got a couple of other players that can play there, so I feel like midfield probably wasn't and I don't know whether he's a massive step up to the midfielders we've got. However, if we sign him, he's been signed for a reason, and I'll back him regardless. But bit of a surprising one for me. I think there's other areas in the team that needs addressing more than midfield, but it's one of those things. We just have to wait and see how it goes. Hopefully he comes in and steps it up because he's going to have to step it up at Chivas, and hope he knows what he's getting himself into because he's going to be scrutinised like never before. But we'll have to wait and see on that. Like I said, I'm not massively excited about it. I'm not devastated by it either. I'm a little bit confused by it, to be honest with you. Like I said, I just feel like, striker position, left back is a little bit of a dodgy one. I mean, I probably would stick with Castillo. I think Castillo had a really good end to the season, but left back could be upgraded. I wouldn't be shocked if we did sign a left back, especially a left back that's seen as a step up. But yeah, I mean, midfield, okay, another defensively-ish minded midfielder, okay, we've got a couple of those already, but yeah, maybe Guti's injury, I don't think Guti's injury is that bad, I think he's over it now, I think he's training, but maybe there's a bit of an issue that we don't know about. I'm not sure. Maybe some players are going to be leaving that I don't know about. So we'll have to wait and see what happens over the whole of the summer. But that looks like it's going to be our first move, which it is what it is. But yeah, we'll just have to wait and see how well it does. And it hasn't even been announced yet. I mean, not officially anyway. Apparently it's done deal and all that, but it's not been announced by the club yet, and that's obviously what you're waiting for. So, yeah, we'll have to wait and see what happens. But overall, that's pretty much it for now. Yeah, just obviously the transfer window hasn't quite opened yet, so and also the Euros and the Copa America is about to start, so it's kind of a bit of a limbo at the moment, waiting for transfer moves to happen, and you got a question, obviously Hierro leaving as well. Does that affect, was Hierro going after Gouveia, and as he's walking out the door, he says, "Don't forget about Gouveia," or is that something new? Is that something that somebody, the committee that have taken over from him? I haven't even spoken about that. Obviously, like my last video, I was worrying about who we're going to get to replace Hierro. Apparently, we're not going to replace with Hierro. At least not one person. But there's a committee of people that I'm happy with. Obviously, people that have been at the club under Hierro, been at the club for a while. They haven't brought anyone new in, which is what I was really worried about. So yeah, I'm alright with that. And committee is obviously better. Obviously, you don't have one person making all the decisions like Hierro did, but if you don't have the caliber of Hierro, then maybe you get 3 or 4 other people that with you that helps back you up. So I'm alright with that. Anyway, guys, that's pretty much it for Chivas right now. So yeah, I'll be back when some more news happens. I think the away shirt gets released in July, if I'm not mistaken. So we've got a little while for that, and obviously there's going to be transfers and stuff. There's more transfer rumours now. I'm not going to talk too much about rumours. I'm only talking about Gouveia because it looks like it's done. A lot of people saying it's a done deal. He's just got to do his medical. So that's the only reason why I'm talking about that. I don't really talk about people saying, "Oh, we're going to go for this guy. We're going to go for that guy." I'd rather just wait and do a video that I know is concrete going to happen. So anyway, guys, have a great weekend. Great weekend, should I say? Have fun watching the Brazil game if you're going to be watching it. And yeah, good luck to Mexico because it's going to be a tough game. Yeah, I'm just keen for Copa America to get started, and I'm keen for the summer, and I'm keen to see what transfers we make, and I'm keen for the next season to start already. But yeah, take it easy, guys. I will be back again when there's something to talk about. So yeah, take it easy, guys. Leave a comment as well if you want to. I always reply, and yeah, I'll see you guys very soon. Adios.